Three's a Crowd is an American sitcom sequel to Three's Company. It is loosely based on the British TV series Robin's Nest, which was itself a spin-off of Man About the House, on which Three's Company was based. Three's a Crowd was broadcast on ABC from September 25, 1984 until April 9, 1985, with reruns airing until September 10, 1985. Synopsis. In the final episodes of its predecessor, Three's Company, Vicky Bradford is introduced as a love interest of Jack Tripper beginning in Cupid Works Overtime, Season 8, Episode 20. In the following two episodes, Friends and Lovers, Parts 1 and 2, Jack asks Vicky to marry him, but she refuses and explains that although she loves Jack, she does not want to be married because she remembered when her father and mother got divorced. So, marriage scares her. However, Jack and Vicky eventually move to a new apartment together, the landlord of which is James Bradford, Vicky's father. James does not approve of Jack and constantly tries to disrupt their relationship. Other characters included E.Z. Taylor, Jack's surfer dude, assistant chef at his bistro, and Claudia Bradford, Vicky's mother and James' ex-wife. Characters: John Ritter as Jack Tripper, Mary Caderet as Vicky Bradford, Robert Mandan as James Bradford, Alan Campbell as E.Z. Taylor, Jessica Walter as Claudia Bradford. Production history. Three's Company had been based on the sitcom Man About the House, which aired on ITV in the United Kingdom from 1973 to 1976. When the series concluded in 1976, series producers Brian Cook and Johnny Mortimer devised two spin-offs of the series. The first spin-off was fashioned for actors Brian Murphy and Eutha Joyce, who played the popular George and Mildred Roper on the series. The series, called George and Mildred, ran from 1977 to 1980, and followed the Ropers selling their apartment building and moving into a high-class neighborhood. The comedy arising from the seemingly lower-class Ropers and their relationship with their higher-class neighbors. The second spin-off was written for Richard O'Sullivan, who played Robin Tripp and was named Robin's Nest, also the name of his restaurant on the series. Running from 1977 to 1981, the series followed Robin moving with his girlfriend into an apartment above the restaurant he ran, a situation which was frowned upon by her father. Three's Company producers were anxious to capitalize on these spin-offs. In 1979, they had spun off Norman Fell and Audra Lindley into their own series The Ropers, based on George and Mildred, but it lasted only until 1980 after 1.5 seasons. Three's Company's ratings remained high though. Executive producers Ted Bergman and Don Taffner attempted to adapt the Robin's Nest series without John Ritter. A pilot for a series called Bird's Nest was written, involving a young man living with his older girlfriend, much to the chagrin of her father, who owned the building they lived in. The series was planned to be a spin-off from Three's Company and possibly a vehicle for Richard Klein, who played Larry Dallas on Three's Company. But ABC passed on the idea. However, as Three's Company entered its 8th season in 1983, ratings took a dive due to stiff competition from the new NBC series The A-Team. Realizing they had an aging show, ABC okayed the development of a new series which was to be called Three's a Crowd. Development and casting of the new series occurred in secret as Three's Company's 8th season progressed. Fellow cast members Klein, Joyce DeWitt, Priscilla Barnes and Don Knotts were kept out of the loop. During a Christmas hiatus in late 1983, producers auditioned several female leads to play Jack's new love interest Vicky Bradford, and eventually decided upon Broadway actress Mary Caderet. An embarrassing situation arose when Joyce DeWitt accidentally walked in on the auditions after coming to the studio to set up her dressing room as the holiday hiatus was coming to a close. DeWitt was then informed by the producers that Three's Company would end at the close of the season, and would spin off into Three's a Crowd with Ritter as star. DeWitt, who had been with the show from the beginning and weathered the highly publicized contractual dispute between Suzanne Summers, ABC and series producers, was hurt by the secrecy involved with the series ending and the spin-off. DeWitt and Barnes found it difficult to tape the rest of the season, as both actresses learned that their characters would conclude with the series finale. Klein and Knotts, however, were offered an opportunity to have recurring roles on the spin-off. Both actors declined the offer. Ironically, Summers reportedly unsuccessfully lobbied to reprise her Three's Company character Chrissy Snow as Jack's love interest in the spin-off. The sense of betrayal that DeWitt felt towards Ritter was short-lived, and they reconciled by Three's Company's end. Transitioning from Three's Company to Three's a Crowd, series producers decided to follow the plot line of the British series. Season 8 of Three's Company drew to a close in a 3-episode story arc. In the first of these episodes, Janet meets wealthy art collector Philip Dawson. In the second episode, she falls in love with him, while Jack meets and falls in love with stewardess Vicky Bradford. Her wealthy father, played by Robert Mandan, does not approve of the relationship. When first aired, this episode ended with the words, "To be continued, next fall," and when rerun late in the summer, this was changed to be continued, next week. The last episode of Three's Company aired as an hour-long special that kicked off the 1984-85 fall television season and set up the premise for Three's a Crowd. In the episode, Janet married Philip, and Terry relocated to Hawaii. Jack and Vicky profess their love for one another, but Vicky turns down Jack's proposal of marriage, citing her fear of the institution after seeing her parents feud her whole life. They instead move in together, in an apartment above Jack's bistro. In the last scene, Jack and Vicky are spending their first romantic evening together in the new apartment, only to have Mr. Bradford accidentally barge in on them, explaining that he received the key from Jack's old boss Mr. Angelino, having just bought the building from him, becoming the couple's new landlord. The title card for Three's Company then appears over the screen with the word "Company" zooming out, being replaced with "a Crowd." Three's a Crowd employed most of the same writers, producers, and staff from Three's Company, but the new show's style was changed. While Jack was the lead star of Three's Company, it had an ensemble cast of 3, with some ancillary characters. However, the new show was centered around Jack. Vicky, her parents, and EZ played supporting roles. The new show also employed even more slapstick comedy for John Ritter to exhibit. The events and characters of the previous show were not mentioned, except in a late-season episode in which Larry Dallas appeared. He had moved to Bakersfield due to business downturns, and during his visit invited along greedy Gretchen, who had often been mentioned on Three's Company. When rebuked by Jack, saying he was now living with a woman, she replied, "You're slowing down, Jack, you used to live with 2 women." Ratings and cancellation. Three's a Crowd garnered only modest ratings, still competing with the A-Team. When the 1984-85 television season finished, the show placed 38th in the Nielsen ratings. This puts the show on the fence with ABC, since the show had enough of an audience to warrant renewal. However, when compared to Three's Company's ratings and the A-Team, which finished 6th for the season, ABC was tepid in committing to another season of Three's a Crowd. John Ritter was told that ABC would commit to a half-season of 13 episodes to see how the series would place, although Ritter was reported as saying that he would not return to the show unless a full season was ordered. Finally, ABC decided instead to pick up Different Strokes for another season, which had just been cancelled by NBC. Episodes. Reruns. Daytime reruns aired on ABC from September 23, 1985 to January 3, 1986, followed by another prime-time run on USA Network. Some syndicated versions aired under the title Three's Company, 2, using an instrumental version of the theme song of Three's Company. 6 episodes of the series were aired on TV Land in September 2006, and 4 episodes were aired on WGN America in October 2008. The series began airing on digital broadcast network Antenna TV in June 2011.